This is by far the worst experience I've ever had building a computer. I just spent $700 on a build that no one may even want. Now, if you paid any attention to my series at this point, you've noticed that all of my builds previous to this one have been around the $500 mark or less. And that is mainly because most buyers that I deal with are looking for their first PC. But the problem with that is most of my builds have only been 1080p systems that could play some games at 1440p. This PC here actually allows the buyer or the user, to whoever is using it, to actually play games at 1440p. Now for the specs in this build, I will tell you that I was able to find an amazing bundle deal on my local Facebook marketplace. I was able to get the Ryzen 7 5800X, the Asus TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. It came with 64 gigabytes of RAM, and it also came with this 3070 Ti for $450. Those parts alone average around $730 on average price finder for eBay, so I got a pretty good deal on that. As far as everything else, I was able to get the Zalman Chronics from Amazon. I did have to buy some extra fans because the fans that came with this case would not allow me to daisy chain the AIO that I bought, which is the Thermalright Elite. Also went and got that 1 terabyte M.2, also with some cable extensions for the GPU. Let me know down in the comment section how much you would spend on this build. Is it 700, 800? Would you possibly spend 900 on this build? Tell me down in the comment section. This is by far the worst experience I've ever had building a computer. So for the past 2 weeks, this PC has been giving me so many problems, and it's just been an absolute headache. The PC has just been locking up on me. Anytime I do any form of Windows updates, it just starts locking up. I get different type of blue screens. It got to a point where I had to switch all the parts into a different motherboard while I was at work just to see if the hardware was bad, what hardware was bad, and what wasn't. And all the hardware worked properly. The CPU works, the GPU works, the RAM works, the power supply, the hard drive, everything works except when you put it on the original motherboard, which is the Asus TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi. Now, I remember a while back, my friend did give me the exact same motherboard, and he also had issues with this motherboard. It had issues connecting to Wi-Fi. It had issues connecting to Ethernet. He even tried putting in a PCIe adapter to see if it can connect to Wi-Fi, and that still didn't work. So let me know down in the comment section if you guys know anything about this Asus TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. So the only way I figured I could fix this issue was by getting a different motherboard and seeing if it worked there. So I ordered another motherboard off of eBay, and I got one off of Facebook Marketplace. Ended up updating the BIOS on the one for Facebook Marketplace, which is the MSI X570 Gaming Wi-Fi, and it ended up working. Everything works just fine now. So it just turns out that X570 Plus from Asus just can't handle the 5th gen Ryzen 5. I have finally finished rebuilding this computer. I think I originally had it built with the other motherboard back on August 9th. and today's actually August 24th. So this computer has been giving me trouble for a little while now, a couple weeks. Uh, Finally able to get it back up and running. Seems pretty stable now. Now I'm gonna get into some benchmarks, and hopefully I don't run into any more issues with this PC. It's been pretty much a big headache for me. And the first game I decided to test is Undisputed. If you're not familiar with Undisputed, it is a boxing game that came out a couple years ago on PC. I bought it in its beta phase where it was around 30 or 40 bucks. But this game is now out on console for like $80. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and buy it there. But this game performed very well on this PC. It gave me around 160 frames per second in 1440p with high settings. And it was just smooth. I didn't see any glitches. I didn't see any hitches on it. It performed very well. And don't mind my actual gameplay. I'm not too good at this game. I haven't played it, like I said, in a long time. A little rusty, and I'm going against the AI here getting whooped. So, and the next game I decided to test was a little bit of Warzone on this PC. And in 1440p balanced settings, it gave me over 100 frames per second. It was around 100 to 105 frames per second. I haven't played Warzone either in a while. This was actually a pretty good game for me. I forgot how many kills I had, but I think it was around 20 kills. I think I get sandwiched between two players here. But this PC performed amazingly. Like this is one of the smoothest experience I've had on this computer. Look at that kill right there. I didn't even know he was right there. But yeah, 1440p, around 100 to 105 frames per second. Now the last game I decided to test is Cyberpunk 2077, and I do have this in 1440p, and I do have ray tracing enabled with all the settings at high, so this should be a good test to see the performance of it. And after running the benchmark test, I did get around 127 frames per second, and that's probably the highest frames I've ever gotten on any PC I've ever built. This PC is by far the best PC I've ever built on this channel, and it's not even close. Now, $700 for this PC, for me, I think is worth it, but selling it might be a little bit more difficult. Hopefully, I can find a buyer pretty soon. All right, so the listing has finally been posted. Now we just wait and see if we can find a buyer. So the $700 PC actually sold within a couple of days. I didn't expect it to sell so quickly. Now, I did not sell on Java.gg like I hoped. It actually ended up selling at my job. So let me know down in the comment section if you guys are interested in more builds like this.